The I Am Rapaport podcast is sponsored by the National Academy of Sports Medicine. The National Academy of Sports Medicine is looking for people who want an exciting, lucrative career doing something you love to do. NASM trainers are helping people reach their health and fitness goals, and the demand for trainers is huge. Imagine having a career doing something you'll love. Set your own hours, work in health clubs, sports clinics, and corporate wellness, and actually love the work you do. NASM guarantees you will land a job as a personal trainer within 60 days of getting your CPT certificate, or you'll get your money back. All right? Go to myusatrainer.com for a free 14-day trial of their fun and fast online program. That's myusatrainer.com. myusatrainer.com. Restrictions do apply. Go to myusatrainer.com for details. All right, this is the I Am Rapaport podcast. I'm in here with somebody who I've been friends with for over... How long have I known you, Nick?
We met in the...
What year did you do Jungle Fever?
I did Jungle Fever like early 90s. And I think early 90s, yeah, because I think I started acting like a little bit late 80s when my father passed away. I think early 90s. Cause
I think I met you in like 94, 95.
Nah, before that, because Steve White introduced me to you.
All right, I'm in here with my man. We've been friends for a really long time, and when I started doing this podcast, like it was like almost too easy, because I already know that this podcast is going to go down in podcast history, because Nick Turturro is my guest, and he's a real friend of mine, and I consider you, Nick, and I've said this to you before, and I'm telling the millions and millions and millions and millions of people that are listening, one of the funniest people I know.
Thank you.
And I still feel like you haven't gotten your comedic due in show business. I don't understand why, because I predict at one point I will be under the table while we're doing this I Am Rapaport podcast with Nick Turturro, this all Nick Turturro episode. I predict that at one point I will be under the table, because I've never not had a conversation with you in person and or on the phone, sometimes even on text, where I hysterically laugh.
Yeah, well, I don't know. People for years have said I'm funny guy. I should have my brother. Other people have said you should have your own show. I used to go on Letterman years ago. And when I was on NYPD Blue, people didn't even know. They said, "Nah, he's really funny. This is nothing what he's about." I had a few pilots that just missed by a hair. I've just kind of like come missed by a hair. Like everybody knows I'm really funny, thinks I'm really funny. On the street, they think I'm hilarious. People stop me and go, "Man, you're funny. You're a funny guy. You're a comedian, right?" I go, "No, I'm not a comedian. I'm not a comedian."
Have you ever done stand-up comedy?
No, I never did stand-up. I've never thought about it. One time I was in the trailer recently with some movie I was doing in Vegas with all these stand-ups, and I said, "I don't know how to do stand-up." The guy goes, "You just did 15 minutes. You just did it right here."
Right.
So I probably, if I had worked on it, maybe because I tell stories. I mean, I tell stories with my brother or other people, and I make them laugh and make them giggle. I'm not a comedian like a joke teller. I'm a storyteller. I'm a guy that tells real stories.
Right, you're not a knock-knock joke guy.
No, I'm not a knock-knock guy. But you got to give me time to breathe. Once I breathe and once I get to it, people laugh. They giggle their ass off. Because it's real. It's coming from, most of my stuff comes from real shit.
And also, I think you're at your funniest to me when there's some sort of distress or frustration.
Yeah.
For instance, I'll just throw this. I'm gonna let you tell the story, because this always brings a. I think if you don't know who Nick Turturro is, first of all, Nick Turturro has been in tons and tons of films. Jungle Fever, then a long run from the beginning of NYPD Blue, and then so many different things, so many different movies. Mm-hmm. So he's an actor. So do people who do not know who you are, now they probably like, "Oh yeah, what was the character on NYPD Blue?"
James Martinez.
Okay, so he was on there from the get-go.
Yeah, I almost didn't get an audition for that.
For that show,
because I wasn't like Puerto Rican or Hispanic,
right? Because you're obviously not Puerto Rican.
I'm Italian, but everybody thought I was Puerto Rican
because of the way you look.
Yeah, because like I was the Puerto Rican in my family. Everybody said Nick's a PR. My brothers say he's definitely Puerto Rican. So because I was dark and I looked Hispanic,
they didn't even want to read you.
No, and then the lady wouldn't let me in the room. I forget her name. She was some big casting lady, and then we went over our head. As my guy Marty years ago said, "Don't worry, honey, I'll get you in." And he got me in the room with Junie Lowry. And then they were in New York, all those guys, Bochco, Milch. I was a doorman at the time.
Right.
And I went up and...
Well, explain it. You were a doorman.
I was a doorman at the St. Moritz on the Park, 59th Street. And then I started acting in the late 80s, early 90s, and then I would do a couple of jobs. And
did you do Jungle Fever before NYPD Blue?
yes, I did Jungle Fever before NYPD Blue. Jungle Fever I did after Mo Better Blues.
Right.
Mo Better Blues was my first job with Spike. Spike discovered me from screaming racial obscenities for Do the Right Thing.
Explain that.
Yeah, I was an extra one night, and I was supposed to go.
John Turturro is Nick Turturro's brother.
John is my brother.
If you haven't made that, it's not just random that they both look the same and they're both named as Turturro. So John was in Do the Right Thing.
Right.
And he played Pino.
He played Pino.
And you were hanging around.
And I was hanging around one day. I went down. It was after my father passed away. I was hanging around in Bed-Stuy, and I liked, I said, this looks like fun. I said, and I said to John, should have got me something. He said, I didn't know you were interested. He said, I thought, I could have maybe got you a little part. There was a bunch of Puerto Ricans. There was Hispanics. There was Italians. And I was, just fooling around with the idea of me because I'd done it earlier, quit college, got married, had a kid, I got derailed. No one knows my history. So I got very derailed, and I got stuck with this hat on my head. I was in front of the St. Moritz. I was like a star out there in front of the hotel. But anyway.
You were a straight up doorman.
I was a straight up doorman, but I had a whole routine. I never was on the door. I was down the block. I was in front of Mickey. I was always all over the street. They would look for the doorman. They'd say, where's the doorman? They say, see that guy down there? That's him. That's the doorman. That's the guy in front of Mickey Mantle's. So I was very, I had a whole thing going on with the door. It was never just about carrying the bags. It was always talking to people, kissing girls, making friends. I was like a politician out there. That was my thing, So when I met Spike, I was an extra. I think I took off a whole weekend. I was canceled every night until like Friday. Then I shot Friday night when they were burning the pizzeria. I was a cop in there, and I was hanging out with Danny and John. It was a fun night. I was quiet. I was just listening to Danny tell stories all night. And then I was in the scene. I think I was supposed to go back on Monday, but it was like $50. I was like, I wasted a whole freaking week for $50.
You can curse on here too, by the way.
I could. All right, I'll
and
curse.
And I encourage that because you are. I would say you're top
curse.
5 cursor.
I'm a good cursor
in my life. Oh no, you're good.
I'm up there.
No, you're top 5. I'm not going to say you're the best. I don't want to put that pressure on you. But you're
no.
So don't feel like
all right.
Just feel told like I mean usually
I got it.
You could be naked. You could take your clothes off during this podcast. Like just go.
I got it.
All right.
So anyway, I didn't go back on Monday. And then Spike, I guess he has asked my brother. He said, "What happened to Nick?" And my brother was like, "Well, he had to go back to work. He had to go to the work. He wasn't feeling well, some shit." So he said, Spike was asking for you. I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah, he liked your face. He liked your look. He was looking at me. I remember he was looking at me in the dark. Spike used to like stare at you. So he was staring. But I don't know if he would notice anything, but that fall, about 8 o'clock in the morning, he called me out of the blue. He got my number from John or something. He said, "Can I speak to Nick?" And I said, "Who is it?" He said, "Spike." And I said, Spike who? I said, "I'm trying to fucking remember. Who's this Spike? Spike Lee?" "Yeah, what's up?" I said, "Oh, Spike." And I'm like, what's this Spike Lee calling me 8 o'clock in the morning? So he says, "Do you want to loop for Do the Right Thing?" And I said, I didn't know what looping was. I said, "I'll loop." Yeah, I said, so he said, "You want to loop?" I said, "Yeah, I'll loop. All right, come tomorrow. Come down and, he said, "Look at the screen. I want you to react to all this shit. I want you to say whatever you want. Gorilla, Molignan, whatever fucking comes to your mouth, the most racial epithets ever." So I fucking went wild for like 3 hours screaming gorilla, this, that, hose that fucking nigga down, all this shit. I was saying all kinds.
And what is his reaction?
He was laughing hard. He was laughing his fucking ass off for like 3 hours. I was giving it all I got. And I was raw. I was letting it loose, Get that motherfucker, hose him. Choke that scope. I was using all kinds of words.
And the more you did it,
the more I did, the more he loved it. He loved it. I never said so many racial epithets in my life. So he, gave me a hug, kiss, and my brother says, "Listen, man, you got a big fan of Spike." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah." He said he brought you into the studio when you went off. And he says, "You meant it." He goes, "You really meant business." He goes, "He's raw, but I like the guy. I like him." And so I said, next thing I know, my brother said he's writing a new movie. And we're gonna play these two Jews, me and you.
Mo and Joe. No, not Mo and Joe.
Josh.
The characters, you Nick things figured out. It was in Mo Better Blues. They were the club owners. It was John and Nick.
Yeah.
You guys were a fucking riot.
Yeah.
And
Mo and Josh Flatbush.
Right.
The Flatbush brothers.
Yeah. And so it was Nick and John, and that was the first time you had like a real part.
It was the first time I really had a real part in a movie, so I was a little petrified, to be honest, because...
And it's with Denzel.
Denzel Washington's in it. I'm
Wesley.
Wesley Snipes.
And this is when Spike is...
And this is when Spike was Spike.
He's hot.
It was a little intimidating, you know? I mean, like, here, you know, the guy's giving me a shot.
And your brother is like...
And my brother's an animal, too. I remember when we were working together, we would work on all our dialogue, and we would improvise, write shit in, and then he would go, "Okay, Nick, take a nap, sleep now while I write." And I'd fucking lay down and sleep.
You and John.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have been in heaven, though. You're working with your brother, who's John Turturro. You're in a Spike Lee movie. I mean, and obviously, John's your older brother, right?
He's awesome.
I mean, you there's got to be a certain amount of, like you look up to him and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so you must have just been, like, in heaven.
It was. And then the thing is, you know, you got to hold your own. You got to actually prove yourself that you belong. I remember Denzel came in and was laughing. I think I was out of my light one time, and Denzel said, hey, and I could tell, I said, this fucking guy is the real deal. I said to my brother at the table read, who is this guy? Wow. He goes, well, that's Denzel Washington. This guy's gonna be a big star, Nick.
What did you mean? Like, what was it about him that you remembered? Obviously, like, so this is for me, one of the many things that Spike Lee did was he made Denzel a sex symbol. And Mo Better Blues was the first time on film that he was treated as a leading man, and he made him into like a star. Like, you know, his looks, his charisma, the way he dressed in that movie. Like, Spike saw, like, this guy is not just a great actor, he's a star, and he's a sex symbol. Spike had the foresight to do that. Mm-hmm. So, but this was before he was like huge. It was, I think it was after he won the Oscar for the fucking movie, the great movie where he played the slave. It's
Glory.
I think it was after that. But
maybe.
But I mean, this is the film Mo Better Blues where he was treated like he was shot and treated and dressed, and he was the star of the film. So what do you remember like about him?
I'll tell you what I remember about him. I immediately saw how incredibly intense he was, but how focused he was, and just how, you know, charismatic and imposing. And the guy looked like he had this, and you could tell when someone's coming with like wild will. I always had a good eye. I had a good ear, a good eye. Like when I first worked with Caruso, I knew Red Dog was like bringing it. And I'm not saying he was Denzel, but I said, you know, when I saw him, I said, wow. Immediately, like, my jaw dropped.
David Caruso.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just making that comparison.
No, I got you.
He was pretty intense. Mm-hmm. And the thing was, when I saw Denzel, I said, wow, this guy is like, he's impressive. Good thing I didn't think too hard when he was doing the scene, because I might have like really like said, wow, I don't think I could fucking act with this guy. I've never been in a movie.
Right.
So, you know, and then like, you know, we had some funny lines. He came in, he was looking for a raise. And I was like, you know, if we had it, we give it to you. And he was like, you motherfuckers are funny. I was like, but I wasn't thinking about it. But I said, wow. I was just, when I saw him, my jaw dropped. And I was just impressed by the whole package. The way he carried himself, his look, his demeanor. I mean, the guy was a stud, and he was intense and so professional. I was out of my light. And then he told me, move over this way, Nick. My brother goes, see that? Denzel's looking out for you, Nick. He told you to get in your light. That's nice. You know, the guy was being nice to me. Probably knew, you know, the kid's a newcomer, he's a rookie. But he wasn't like doing it in an insulting way.
I got you.
He was very nice about it. And I remember when I saw him later with Malcolm X, I had to put him in a toilet bowl. He was funny because he goes, what does he do? Always make sure we're racist, Nick? I go, I know this fucking guy. I go, all he wants to do is make me racist now. Hate everybody. So I was like, he was laughing and stuff. But by then, that was just a cameo. But I had, I was
in the film Malcolm X,
very impressed with him and Mo Better. I never forgot the impression he laid on. And there was a lot of impressive people at that table.
Sam Jackson, Wesley,
all kind. There was a guy at
Robin
Harris who destroyed everybody in the room.
So that was a table reading you didn't forget.
Oh my God, Robin Harris was you were on the floor. He destroyed
Giancarlo,
all of them, the whole
Bill Nunn.
All those guys.
It's a good. Mo Better Blues is a really good film.
I remember one scene where we got thrown out in the club. Me and John, we got treated like shit Because sometimes when you're outnumbered by everybody,
Right.
you got a posse of whoever.
Right.
You know, and then John goes, didn't you feel like we got treated like a piece of shit tonight? I go, yeah. I go, they treated us like shit tonight, John. You know, and it was no big deal. We were just
Right.
laughing.
Right.
But it was a great experience. It was a great experience. And then, you know, I went back after that. I went back to the hotel, and then my brother could tell. He said, you really had a nice experience. Don't forget this now. You know, when you go back there, don't just drop it. You know what I mean? Let this set in. It meant something to me. And then you know, the movie came out good. And then Spike said, listen, you know, I got something coming up later now. This is going to be a better part. You're going to play like Joey Farmer. So he let me know before Jungle Fever. So I started getting pumped up about it, thinking about it. We rehearsed for like a month. I bought my own clothes. I took everybody to Bensonhurst. I was walking around with black girls. People were staring at me. So I was preparing for that movie so that by the time I did
Jungle Fever.
I was so fucking focused in that movie. Even my brother goes, your focus was off the wall. I was because I was hungry, you know.
Right.
I was hungry, and I was because basically Spike told me, hey, you know what, you could do this. You know what I mean? He was giving me the confidence
Right.
to go out there, and then taking a few classes, got a little agent. So I started really like believing, wow, let me see if I could maybe I could do this. Maybe I could make a living at this. You know, just make my own way. I was trying
Right.
to make my own way. And Spike, you know, really, he gave a lot of people chances. He was good
So
that
many
way.
people.
We used to
Rosie
go watch
Perez.
We used to go watch dailies. The whole cast. It was great. We'd watch dailies at night. Jungle Fever. We could watch dailies.
The whole cast would come.
Yeah, a lot of people.
So it's John, Wesley, Annabella Sciorra, Bottaluco, Debbie Mazar's
Debbie
in the
Mazar was
Frank
on.
Vincent.
She was a hairdresser. She was fun then. She was less actressy.
Right, right.
Years ago, I worked with her on a miniseries that she played my wife, and she had her acting coach with her and all this shit. And I was like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, Debbie? Come on, we're trying to work here.
Right.
That's acting class.
Right.
Come on now.
Right.
Don't bring that shit here.
Right.
I liked you better when you had the big hair.
Right.
And you were fucking just working.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
But yeah, no, Spike was great. The parties were great. Jungle Fever. There was Jungle Fever going on in the street. Italian guys were chasing the black girls and parties. And I used to wear the African jacket. I had that Do the Right Thing jacket, the African patches. Cinda Williams. Oh my God.
It was an exciting thing. And so you kicked ass. I've always told you this. You shut shit down in Jungle Fever.
Yeah, Jungle Fever was my coming out party, kind of. You know what I mean? Like Sam got all the accolades, but when I saw Spike said, Sam Jackson and you kill the movie.
Sam Jackson and you, because
but Sam, you know, Sam was Sam.
I mean, it was a bigger part, but I mean, you had fire.
Yeah,
you were just like you were vibrant.
I don't know. It was just like on the screen. I don't know. Even when I look back at it, I go, wow, how did I do that? Sometimes you look back at shit and you go, how the fuck did I do that? How
Right.
did that happen?
Right.
You know, I don't know. That's where I was at the time. And then I guess I was so excited. I was pumped up, all the rehearsals we had. I was preparing. So that by the time we went, man, and I put on the Sergio Tacchini and all that shit and Bottaluco, because we had a history. I knew him since I'm a kid.
Michael Bottaluco, the actor, he was, he's been in tons of movies also, and he was on, what was the show
The
he was
Practice.
on? The Practice for You. He won an Emmy.
He went to college with John in New Paltz. They did A View from the Bridge, him and Bottaluco. I didn't know who this Bottaluco was. And then the guy started taking me to Yankee games. He took me to the World Series in '77 when Reggie hit 3 homers and all this shit. So I had this funny history with him as a kid. And then years later, we were acting together. We were in John's movie Mac, and then we were in Jungle Fever. And we had good chemistry together. John said, you and Bottaluco, for whatever reason, you fucking guys have Joe Head. He said, Joe Head, you know, Paula Abdul, you know Paula Abdul. She got big tits. It was funny shit. It's like, we were writing all our own lines in the rehearsal.
He would let you go.
Yeah, we would rehearse. Spike would laugh and say, great, write that in, write that fucking thing in, write it in. So we would write all our shit, like stomped her in the midsection.
Right.
That came from my first wife. Whatever, no, crazy story, whatever.
Right.
I caught her in the act almost. But,
And then, he's not saying he did that. It was something he thought about.
He loved it.
It was
I
a
remember
conversation.
I was on the subway.
I don't want people to think you actually stomped your
No,
first.
I didn't stomp her.
No,
but
he's
I mean,
no, because people get crazy on these
do.
things that come
They do.
podcasts.
They do.
You got to watch what you say.
It's
the
true.
political correct police are looming outside the building right
They're
now with you and
everywhere.
me, because this could go awry. We could start talking, so we gotta monitor each other.
You gotta watch what you say.
You gotta watch what you
Yeah.
say, because
No, I'm just saying the inspiration.
I know. I just was clarifying.
Because I say, I'm not my brother. I'm not one of these methodical. I'm a guy that draws from my life.
And
all
it's
the
wrong.
shit in my
like
life.
Me and you are similar kind of actors. Like we're untrained.
Right.
We've been doing it for years. We're
instinctual. Know what we're doing.
And then talk. All right. So just to segue for a minute, talk about John and talk about what kind of actor he is, and talk about what his success and like as a brother and growing up watching him. Because to me, I mean, I've said this to him. I've said this to you. To me, John Turturro. The fact that number one, that John Turturro from, I mean.
He's a genius.
He's a genius.
He's a genius.
Oh, Brother, Where Are Thou? Jungle Fever.
Barton Fink.
Miller's Crossing. I mean,
Five
Do
Corners.
the Right Thing.
Do the
Five
Right
Corners.
Thing.
It goes
Even
on.
the first time you see him in To Live and Die in L.A., when you saw him on screen the first time. Like when he was in high school, I'll tell you a little story. He saw Pippin, this musical, and he went wild. Ben Vereen, he saw that Pippin show, and he came home. He was like fucking. He was buzzed about it, and then he decided to go to my cousin's high school, St. Francis Prep, and do excerpts from Pippin. He put on a show for 1,000 people. I was in the Best of Broadway. I sang My Way. I was like a little kid. It was a funny story. I sang My Way. But anyway, he put together this play, Pippin, with these high school football jocks, and then he played Ben Vereen. And he couldn't even, he didn't even know how to sing, but he managed somehow to like duplicate a Broadway show as a high school person with no experience, directed, created it, and I said, wow, you could see how what a leader, what a talent. Like he had a vision. He was a visionary guy. He was a thinker. He was always a thinker. He was even as a brother. I mean, I always remember him as a guy that didn't panic. He didn't like have a nervous problem like me and didn't jump off the hand. He used to think things through. That's what he always says about me, Nick. You don't think. You never think. You just react. You just react. You never think. Why did you do that?
And what do you say?
Why did I panicked? But he goes, that's your whole life. It's not your fault. He goes, it's not your fault. It's because how you grew up. How you grew up. You were running in the first grade around the neighborhood, and my father tied you to your chair and all this shit. It's a true story. I used to run out of school for a whole year. I used to run out of school, and they used to come and find me. And I had a big hat, and they'd say, there he is. There he is with the big hat. They'd say, there he is. And I used to run out. The minute I got there, I would leave school. I'd be behind buildings. I'd see my mother crossing Merrick Boulevard. And they used to hold me down, try to give me needles and shit. I'd fight 10 doctors. I was I had emotional outbursts and nerves. I couldn't stay away from my mother.
Hyper.
I couldn't stay away from one teacher tried to block my mother. I said, get out of the way. Get out of the way. I said, I threw her right out of the way. I said, I had to see my mother. I used to panic. I had panic attacks. And there was problems going on with my oldest brother. But John, he is still the same guy he was when he was my older brother, always a protector, but a thinker, and a guy who, even when we saw him in college, his first year, he went to this college, New Paltz, first play he ever did, right out of the gate, with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And we went there, my father, my mother, we went there, and we said, wow, look at this guy. He's fucking good, man.
You knew right away.
Right away. You said, this guy made the jump. He did one play in high school, this musical, was great. And then he did A View from the Bridge with Bartolucco. He was great. Then he did The Homecoming, this play. Years later, he played an 80-year-old man with a Cockneyed accent. We said, this guy is like, he is serious. He did some plays in college. Never mind when he went to Yale. He did a lot of weird shit in Yale. But when he went to college, you said, well, this guy could fucking act, man.
Right.
And he was funny, and you never knew what he was going to do. And he's a special breed. The guy is a hard worker.
It's criminal that John Turturro has never gotten nominated for a goddamn Oscar.
Ridiculous.
They not forget one. Forget one.
A couple of them.
Miller's Crossing done. You didn't get nominated for that, for just that one scene. You should have got two nominations.
From the scene, I agree.
They should have given him 2 nominations for Best Supporting Actor. It should have been 2 slots. John Turturro, and everyone else.
Golden Globe once.
Give me a break.
They didn't nominate him for freaking. He was you watch him at Herbie Stemple. He's unbelievable in that movie.
Unbelievable.
What's the name of that movie?
Jesus
God, my
Christ.
memory.
One of the things that they show.
My memory's gone.
Miller's Crossing.
No, not Miller's Crossing. I'm talking about Quiz Show.
Quiz Show.
What the fuck is wrong
Quiz
with me?
Show.
I can't think anymore.
No, nothing.
Yeah. No.
I mean, John
unbelievable.
Turturro's body of work is ridiculous.
He's insane.
He's ridiculous.
He's
and no
insane.
nominations.
He's insane. I just saw him in this new movie where he plays an Italian actor trying to speak Italian called Mia Madre. He's brilliant. He's so good. You know, the other part of the movie is like boring. I was telling him, he goes, no, it's good. I said, no, but your part, I'm trying to pay you a fucking compliment. Your part, yeah, but that's a great movie. I said, I know it's good. I said, but when you come on, you make the fucking movie. You understand? You make it. You know, thank you very much. You know, he's very, very modest and stuff. But you know, he's the real deal.
He's the real deal. Like he's really
deal.
he's trained. He lives it, breathes it,
and he can direct too.
Yeah.
He can direct because he has a big imagination.
Yeah,
he has. I mean, he directed Woody. Nobody gets Woody in a movie.
Nobody gets Woody.
Fading
Gigolo.
It took him 3 years. Woody busted his ass. Woody broke his balls for years. John, come on, John, you gotta rewrite. And he finally told Woody after a couple, he said, you know what, man? That's enough now, Woody. I had enough now. Now you gotta do it now.
The I Am Rapaport podcast is sponsored by Casper Mattresses. Casper.com. It's an award-winning sleep startup. Go to Casper.com. $50 off purchase of any size mattress. Put in the code Rapaport, RAPAPORT, Casper Mattress in New York City. You could keep the bed for 100 nights. You could get your freak on for 100 nights. If you do not like the bed after 100 nights, you can return the mattress within 100 days. That's a guarantee. The bed will be delivered between 2 to 5 days anywhere in the United States and Canada. Same day delivery in New York City. We do not plug, we do not support, we do not take sponsorship from anything we have not tried and we are not passionate about 450%.
Let me turn this stupid.
Wait, what are you texting, Nick?
No, I'm not texting.
No, don't text, Nick.
I'm not texting. Let me turn that stupid
I'm
thing
shocked
off.
that you even know how to text. Nick,
I learned
when
it's a
did you-
dangerous thing.
No, but it's
if you watch me text with one finger.
No, you're like a fucking, you make me look eloquent.
I'm awful.
Do you know how to use, like, you have a computer yet?
I have a computer.
When did you get a computer? It's 2000.
No, we have 3 computers, but I answer.
When did you get a computer? Like when did?
No, I don't have one personally.
Recently, because do you have an email? Do you have an email?
Yes, I do.
Do you use it?
I answer once in a while. I answer an email.
But it's like, in order for you to get on the internet and like go through emails, like it's like a different part of your brain that needs to come in.
I only do that like when someone sends me something. My wife does that. She looks through all the emails.
But you figured out how to use a phone.
I know how to use a phone, but I'm not very good. Even on Twitter, I got bumped off. I got in trouble on Twitter.
Would you curse?
No, I didn't curse. I just talking to too many people. So now I don't talk to that many people. Plus, I don't really know how to like send people. I just tweet like emotionally, like with baseball.
I do it too. Baseball.
I almost got to, now I do like a little something for MLB, so I can't curse on that.
Right.
So I don't, but I used to do one during Yankee games.
Because Nick is a Yankee fan.
Fucking motherfucking, and I'd be watching the game, and I would tweet with fans during it because they'd want to know how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. And then one guy said, a suit guy said, well, do you ever read his tweets? Before I got frozen, I got hacked on Twitter, really. And then I couldn't get back on. I got back on. But I didn't know, I'm not diplomatic. I wasn't being thinking like, people are
going to read it or it's going to offend people.
Read, or some guy's going to say, that guy's a lunatic. And the only fans that were really talking to me were hardcore, because I'm a hardcore baseball fan.
Hardcore. Nick's a hardcore baseball fan more than most people are fans of.
I know all sports, but
baseball.
I'm a doctor with baseball.
Baseball is your thing.
Even my brother's like, he tries to talk baseball. I'm like, John, you don't know baseball. You can't talk baseball with me. You can't talk. He was in a baseball show with me. We shot a TV show one time for MLB Network, and they had cameras here on the field at a Yankee game. A camera there and a camera. My brother goes, you got a camera here? Camera over there. Interesting. Wow. What do I do? We're at a ball guy. So just be yourself. What do you do? Just be yourself. Act like yourself.
John is telling you this?
No, I told John. I said, just act like yourself. He goes, how should I act? They were filming us at a Yankee game.
As regular people.
Yeah, I said, just act. And he was hamming it up. He was like hamming it up, talking into the camera. He was like, why does A-Rod wear his socks that way, Nick? Is that for effect? Is that for effect? I said, no, John, that's real baseball. That's not for effect. That's real. If you wear your socks high, that's old school, real baseball. You know, I was at a Dodger game recently. I was telling a Dodger fan, see the Mets? See the Mets? He goes, yeah. I go, that's the bastard child of the Dodgers and the Giants. These idiots. They go, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? I go, they took the blue and the orange from the Giants and the Dodgers. Those were New York teams. They left New York. So the Mets are the bastard. Like if you have a child out of wedlock, that's the Mets. The Mets are a fucking child out of wedlock. Nobody understands that. They really are the bastard child. They were put in Queens. So, you know, I'm just trying to explain history.
That's good shit.
That's history.
That's good shit.
They don't want me on like MLB shows because I'm too, you know, I know.
They should. You should. But you could do it without cursing.
No,
I encourage you to curse here.
You encourage me
on the I Am Rapaport podcast. But you could talk without. You're not animal.
I could talk the base with that. I could talk the best with them with baseball. And I've been doing something for them.
I think that they should. See, I think the thing with some of the sports broadcasting in any sport, it's too sanitized.
It is.
Like when you're watching a baseball game with Nick Turturro is you should charge people, Nick. Yeah. That should be a fucking side business. Yeah. If you want to have
I took that guy to a game that, you know, you worked with Michael Pressman, and I blew his mind. He was never the same.
Never seen
he was
anything.
never the same because I never looked at the game like you look at it.
No, if you want a life experience and you want to see a real sports fan, you could go to a live game. I've never been to a live Yankee game with you, but I remember a few years ago I came over to your house and watched a Yankee playoff game with you, and I'm crazy. And I love my sports, but you're on a different planet when it comes to the Yankees. Yeah. Like you know the shit, you love the shit, and you feel everything good, bad, or in between.
Exactly.
And I mean,
I'm thinking 4, 5, 6 steps ahead.
And you're emotional.
Yeah.
And you're emoting
and I'm
about.
seeing things. I'm seeing bad things happen in my head. But my brother's like, "You're so pessimistic." Oh my God! I'm like, "It's not that, John. I'm seeing what's happening. I know what's unfolding here. I could see it. It doesn't always come true, but there are times that my worst fear comes true. A lot of times, my fears, I could see it unfolding 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead because I was managing Little League this year. I had parents.
I'm
my
surprised,
God,
Nick.
My brother goes, "That's a show."
That's a show.
And I had parents. You know. There's, you know, it's like a rich Jewish country club, you know, parents, and they're like, why isn't Joshy playing? Why isn't Joshy? I'm like, hey, because Joshy can't hit. That's why. Shut the fuck up. Let me manage. I'm trying to manage over here. All these guys, doctors.
That's a show for sure.
What's going on? Why are you walking him? Why are you walking? I'm like, please. I'm trying to manage. Don't get me mad, all right? You want to manage? You do the job.
How old are these kids? These baseball kids that you're coaching?
I coached kids around right before high school. I coached a couple of years ago, and then my son graduated, and then I went back last year. And people were like, well, why are you here? Your son's gone. I said, because I want to be here. That's why. Because I love it. I love kids. I can't get enough. It's Encino. I know all the guys. And they used to think I was just an insane Italian guy when I first played. That guy's scary. And I was like, no, I'm not scary. I'm not scary. I just show some emotion. Because you people are all passive aggressive. You people are more nuts than me. Let me fucking tell you about you people. Because you don't express yourself. So a guy that expresses him, they say, oh, he's a little crazy. He's a little nutty. I am a little nutty. But not, you know, I get wound up when I'm coaching third. Like the kid is running past third. Sometimes I run with him. I used to push him like towards home plate, almost score with him. They say, you can't score with the guy at third, Nick. You can't run down the path. You have to see me in action. I mean, like, it is fun to watch me. I'm not.
And this is not a show. This is.
I don't do this for the cameras.
No.
Whatever I do is in real life. There's
no fucking around.
I was like, recently, I was in Greenpoint. I'm walking around the neighborhood. I was doing a Blue Blood show, and it brought me back. And then I was in a pizzeria, and the guy goes, yeah, you're like a regular guy. Why don't you bring your friend? I go, they don't do what I do. I'm an actual neighborhood guy. I walk around the neighborhoods. I eat pizza. I talk to people on the street. I'm not like my brothers. I can't talk to you right now. I can't talk to you, you know. I'll shake your hand. He goes, I'll shake your hand, but please, you know, I like people. I mean, as long as they don't get crazy.
People get nuts every now and then.
But people do get nuts. There are people that have come across that, you know.
They get a little nuts.
I'd have to say that I had a few experiences where I had to say, all right, now stop now. Stop. Because one time my brother told a guy he was going to throw him over on a boat one time. He said, stop. So he said, now I was nice to you. Come on. He wanted like John to do a movie for him on the boat. And he said, stop it now. If I press you right now, I have to pick you up and press you. I was like, yeah. So he's, he takes pictures with girls. He's like nicer to women. I go, yeah, take the picture, John. Take the picture. Okay, I'll take the picture. He's more. My brother's a feminist. He loves women. He loves women in the sense that he's much for the woman's movement, for the woman's plight.
Right.
And he's a feminist. He is. I love women too, but I have that male chauvinistic side.
Right.
From my father. It's just I have that. It's not that I like the woman's movement too. I'm not against women, but he's very much, I like women. Women are smarter people. They really are more
women
fascinating.
are smarter and they're stronger.
They're stronger, they're smarter, they're more fascinating, they're more interesting. We really are just a simple animal.
It's an animal.
We're a simple animal.
We
beast. Really are a beast. When you really look at women just physically, emotionally, they're amazing. They're beautiful.
No, we're simple. We're like eat,
that's
sleep.
That's what I say.
Eat, sleep. Give me a fucking Knicks game.
That's it. You give me a game.
Sleep, give me a cigar.
Give me a good plate of cigar. And
give me some food.
Give me something good in the bedroom. You know what I mean?
And then I'll go back to sleep. I'll shut the fuck up.
Right.
And turn the game on.
I make a nice sauce, whatever. But
weren't you at one point like, what's the deal with the Turturro's sauce?
Yeah, I had
because Nick could cook. Yeah. Nick's one of the first men when we first connected that I knew, because I grew up in a home. My father could not cook. He took care of us, and he gave us food, but it wasn't like anybody would eat it except for people that like hadn't eaten all day. Like me and my brother ate the food, and that was it.
I think I heard you talking about. What did he cook?
He just his big meal. Like
you were raised by your father?
I lived mostly with my father and my mother. But my mother could cook.
Did your mother cook?
She could cook. I love my mom. My mom loves you, Nick. She's going to be so excited. Listen, I'm not going to say my mom is going to be on a cooking show and win an award, but she could get the job done. My father...
What did he make?
The thing he was most proud of is he would take rigatoni, he would heat it up, he would boil it.
You mean he boiled the pasta?
Boil the pasta.
Right.
Right, as you should. Then when the pasta was done, he would take the ragu out of the jar. Stir it right into the sauce. So he wouldn't even heat the pasta, the sauce up.
Cold?
Well, when you mix no, it would be out of the jar, so it would be room temperature.
Was it good sauce out of the jar?
No, it was ragu.
Ragu.
So he would mix it into the warm pasta, so the sauce would get heated from there. And then he would take a chuck steak with no seasoning from the oven that he cooked. He'd cut that up, throw that into the bowl.
You know what that is?
What is it?
It's white people.
Yeah.
That's like white people.
No. See, that's...
I might get it wrong. I might get in trouble here.
No.
But that's like, I'm talking about
Nick,
real...
Jews, normal Jews can cook.
No, a lot of Jewish people know how to cook.
Not my father's not one of those Jewish people.
They're not Italians, but you would think Jews from New York.
No, Jews not... No, this is...
They could cook.
I think at the point that he started doing this was part of throwing in the towel, because me and my brother were driving him so nuts. It's like... And then what he would do is he would knock on my bedroom door, and it would be on the floor outside the door like prison. And he was like, I made the pasta with the steak. He was proud of that.
How did he make the steak in like a frying pan?
Under the oven. For 9 minutes it'd be there. Chuck steak, no seasoning, cut up, and that was the meal of the week.
What would you have for breakfast?
Oh no, we fend for ourselves. We get cereal, or you go to the store and you get a fucking bagel. There's no.
But this was a supper.
That's dinner.
That was a chuck steak.
That's a good dinner.
A chuck steak or a ragu with.
That's it.
Not even warmed up.
No. You know how to make a sauce.
Yeah, well, I learned in my 20s. As a kid, I didn't know anything. My mother was like a magician. She was an amazing cook. The woman cooked everything. Sauce, pot roast. The woman was amazing. My father only knew how to make fucking Sanka coffee. He didn't know how to boil an egg, my dad. Either did I. But when I got in my 20s, in my first marriage, I started exploring with the sauce thing, and then I gave myself a name, Nicky Red Sauce, and then all of a sudden started making it for friends and for family. Everybody said, I love that sauce. I love the gravy.
The Nicky Red Sauce.
Yeah, the Nicky Red Sauce.
I've had it many times.
Yeah. Yesterday I made a lobster sauce. That's another sauce I make, which is a great sauce.
You advance to that.
Well, that's a special sauce that I make like around the holidays. I get a lobster. I kill the lobsters. I break them in half. I get them live. Then I kill them. You got to kill them. Now, like I was making a crab sauce for my friend. I kill them. How? I boil them. Put them in a pot.
And
I shut the pot. I don't want to hear them.
Do they make noise?
They bang around the pot. It's horrible. But, they're scavengers of the sea. It's just like I told my friend Will. I was cooking for him in Jersey a few years ago, a kid on the show. And I go, Will, I'm pulling the crabs right out of my backyard in Jersey. He goes, what are you going to do with that? He's like one of these gluten-free guys. What are you going to do with it? I go, I'm going to cook it. Oh, my God. I said, what do you mean, my guy? It's fantastic. Crab sauce. Don't worry about it. And we do another thing. We would fry it and then we'd clean it, and you got to clean them really good because you get sick eating that crab stuff. But I put it right in the sauce. I'd cook the crab or I'd cook the lobster. You get all the juices from the lobster right in the sauce.
So this is your new thing?
No, that's a special sauce. The regular red sauce, which I make with pork and sausage and meatballs, that's the Nicky Red sauce.
Think Goodfellas. Think this. You make like a real authentic
sauce.
Southern Italian. Are you a Sicilian?
Half Sicilian, half Barese.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm a half Sicilian, half Barese.
What's Barese?
Barese is a place called Bari, Italy. It's on the Adriatic. It's southern too. And then further down is Sicily. But I look like a Sicilian.
Yeah, I know.
I look like one of those guys from Sicily. I saw guys like me look mixed, dark. Because, when I went to Italy, I hadn't saw a black guy for my 16 days till I got to Sicily. They came right out of the weeds, black guys. I was like, holy shit, I almost hit a tree. I said, that's me. That's why I look like I'm a mulatto or something. You know what I mean? I look like I'm a mixed guy because I always felt mixed.
Right.
I never felt white. I told my mother looked like you. I said, Ma. And she said, well, you're Caucasian. I said, no, not really, Ma. I don't look like you. You look Irish. They judge you by the way you look at a car. That's how they say you're greasy, you're dark, you're a greasy guy.
Right, they say this about you.
No, that's what they think.
Did you get teased growing up?
Sure.
I know. So where'd you grow up in New York?
I grew up at the end of Queens, right by, you talk about Goodfellas, that's where the whole movie took place, by Kennedy Airport.
So you had airplanes
right over my house in Rosedale. It was a half a block from Valley Stream, which was Long Island. But it was technically a Queens neighborhood. Queens mentality, Irish, German, it was a little Puerto Rican, some Italian. It was a real good mix. So anyway, it was a good neighborhood. It was a great neighborhood. Kids everywhere. John didn't like the neighborhood as much as me. He felt not as accepted there. Because I told him recently, I went back there. I drove there one day, and I got real sad because everybody goes, well, what did you expect? I said, I know, but the memories I have on the streets and stuff. I said, he goes, well, everything changes, man. Of course you're going to be depressed. I said, I know, but I was really depressed. And he goes, I said, because I have better memories there than you. How do you know? I said, because I do. Because you didn't like that neighborhood. He goes, yeah, that's true. But that's the truth. He didn't really love that neighborhood. My father hated it. He used to call it Tobacco Road. I don't know why. It was a great neighborhood. Kids everywhere.
It's a New York neighborhood.
It was kids on the street. You'll never see it like that again. The pictures I have in my head, pole to pole, and John, remember, put a basketball court in front of the house. John was a good basketball player. He used to play guys on the court, and I was like his coach on the side. I was so little, so I used to watch him and say, and make sure you don't lose. Make sure you don't lose to this fucking guy. You got to beat him. John would elbow guys, punch him in the chest. He played dirty at the end to win. And he could box too. Guys like to box him. And he knocked these guys out in front of the house. They'd throw the gloves off, get mad. And it's a boxing match. Take it easy, guys. John was a good boxer, man. John could fucking box, man. John could fight.
He could fight, right?
John has been in some fights. He'll go right for your throat. Him and my father, one time on a construction site, had a brawl. Guy attacked my father, and then John jumped in, grabbed the guy by the throat. And he's like my father. He's more of a vicious, he has an animalistic side. I mean, I have a wild temper, but I'm not as.
You don't want to fight.
Yeah, I don't want to fight.
You don't have a propensity for physical.
I'm a yell. I'm more of a guy that yells and screams. As I've gotten older, I'm a little crazier, but I'm almost at times I almost feel like I'm gonna have like a bad fight or something. But I grab myself. So I used to always be afraid of violence because my father was so imposing. He used to run after my brother in the neighborhood, not John, my other brother. And you used to see these two, father and brother, chasing each other in the neighborhood. And it was embarrassing. It was very embarrassing, scary too. So my father was he was a little scary because you don't know if he's going to kill somebody. But my brother was strong. My older brother, he was the strongest. He was powerful, but he wasn't a fighter. He used to just run from my father.
The I'm Rapaport podcast is sponsored by American Giant Clothing. American Giant, American-made sweatshirts, t-shirts, sweatpants, and the best hoodies ever made. The best hoodies ever made. Trust me, I am a hoodie fiend. I don't spend my money on clothes. I do have a large, long hoodie collection in my closet, go to American-Giant.com and check out why we love all the clothes and activewear at American-Giant.com, and check out why I fuck with American Giant from day one. They were the very first sponsor of the I Am Rapaport podcast. All right, I want to talk about NYPD Blue.
Sure.
Because I want to get to NYPD Blue. Then I have two. I want to talk about NYPD Blue. Then I want to talk about the Sandler movie.
Longest Yard?
What?
Longest Yard?
Longest Yard. And your experience making that. And all this. So when you did NYPD Blue, it was like, now for those of you who remember, like that show took off. It was like boom. It was almost like a fucking rocket ship. And it was like the first show on network television that was pushing the envelope, cursing. It had a more of a cable feel in 90, what was it,
93, 94.
93, 94?
Yeah.
Holy fuck,
That's when
we're getting old.
Yeah, we are. I'm almost 54. Scary.
That was 93, 94? That was the first year of that show?
Yeah.
So
94.
when that show took off, and it's David Caruso,
Dennis Franz,
James
McDaniel,
Jimmy Mack, and it's Bochco
Amy
and David
Brenneman.
Milch. If you don't know David Milch, he's the creator of many shows, but recently Deadwood.
Right.
And I mean, so David Milch, I mean, we love him. He's nuts. And then you have David Caruso, who, the show takes off, and then this crazy shit happens with Caruso. So, like, what was that environment like for you? And you're like, yo, this is just moved to New York. You survived the Los Angeles. I mean, you just moved from New York to LA. You're a real actor. You quit your job at the hotel.
Right.
You survived the
earthquake.
Which is
got killed in the earthquake.
In the earthquake of '93.
Yeah, my building was condemned. Almost came down. And it was terrifying. I thought I was going to die.
Walk me through the earthquake of '93 in Nick Turturro's house. You're in what part of town is this?
I was in Sherman Oaks,
in the Valley of California,
right on Moore Park, behind Casa de Cadillac. It's a famous Cadillac place. There's a Fat Burger there. I was living in a building with my first wife at the time and my other daughter Erica,
and a dog. What was the dog's name?
I forget that name. I'm trying to remember that name. I think it was a chocolate lab. And it was like a 3-bedroom apartment. And these buildings were,
And you're happy to be in LA?
I'm very happy. I was only there 6 months.
You're on NYPD Blue?
My whole life is changing. I mean, I'm in Los Angeles. Everything is new to me. I'm like a virgin on every level. A virgin to the business. Because I had been working and doing it part-time. Everybody said, wow, you're doing great part-time.
Then you get NYPD Blue.
I get this opportunity.
As a regular.
At the beginning, I didn't really know if I was a regular or was I. It was 7 out of 13. It was, and I said, am I a regular? Yeah, you are. I said, well, what does that mean? They said, don't worry about it. And they're going to put you in the title, too. And I said, oh, great. And I didn't know 7 out of 13. And then, and then all of a sudden they moved me across the street. I had a small trailer. They said, we're going to put you in with the bigger trailer with us. And I was like, wow. I was really like, I was a nervous wreck because I was like, what the? I just don't want to get, just do good because I could tell everybody was really good and I didn't have a lot of lines to say. I'd say like, I'm up for that. Hands up. And I'd say one line and they'd say, that's beautiful. And I'd say, what? What did I do? They said, beautiful. Whatever you're doing is beautiful. Because one time I asked Caruso, I knew he kind of liked me, and I liked him because he was so intense. I said, wow, this fucking red devil with the red hair. I dug him, and he dug me, and he was from Queens. He didn't get along with everybody, a lot of other guys. He was very competitive. But with me, I guess he felt like I wasn't a threat.
Right.
And I was very innocent. And I said, hey, Dave, you think I'm okay? You think I'm doing all right? And he was like, fantastic. He goes, don't let anybody mess with you. I said, what do you mean? He goes, don't let anybody screw with you. You have something beautiful going on. Something, and I could tell I was just kind of learning. I went there like an apprentice. I went there like my character. That's how I played it. I played it like a virgin, like a guy that never got laid. And I was like, hey guys, hi.
And it's Dennis Franz, who's a huge
TV star. Caruso had done a bunch of movies.
King of New York.
All these other guys. Milch, I didn't even know who Milch was. My brother this.
Right.
David Milch, he goes, he was a professor at Yale. He was after my wife, Kathy. He goes, he's a big-time guy. And
Bochco, they created everything.
I didn't know these people. They were like the gods on television.
Right. This is before
cable,
HBO. No, these were the guys.
This is before home box or HBO.
Yeah.
This is when
HBO was only for movies and fights every
couple. This is when network television.
Right. It was the king. And this show takes off. It's number one. It's a phenomenon.
Fantastic.
And then you're sleeping one night. It's your home in the valley. And what happens?
And it's like 4:50 something or 4. I was like 4 something. I forget what exactly, 4:38 or something. And I'm telling you, I can't even describe the feeling. I was in the bed. A week before, I'd heard a little shake, and I'm watching a football game. They said, "Oh, minor earthquake." I said, "I thought that was cool." I said, "That was a little earthquake," not knowing a week later that some bomb was gonna hit. So I'm in the bedroom. I can't exactly do it for you, but it sounded something like this. Like you felt like this. I fucking jumped out of the. What do you do? What do you do? I made it to the fucking hallway. I think. I'm looking at Jake, my first wife. I call her Jake. I thought I was and it's shaking every which way, up, down, sideways. Fucking no. This is, your whole life flashes in front of you. You have to understand something. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I thought, this is it. I'm gonna fucking die right now. Understand? You fucking laughed. Then it stopped. Then it started again. Windows being blown out. Walls come. Like a guy coming into your bedroom in a Mack truck. He drove through your house, jumped out of the Mack truck with a knife to your fucking throat. Okay? He had knives to your throat. It's like my brother when he asks me if I want to eat sometimes. When I stay at his house, he has a gun to my head. He goes, "You want to eat? Want to eat right now? Right now. I need to know right now. I need to know your decision. Right fucking now. Right now." I said, "No, I can't. I can't give you a decision because I can't with a gun to my head. You understand? I can't." Then I come down 2 hours later and he's like, "Yeah, I could have made you something." I'm like, no. I don't know. When I have guns to my head, I can't think about scrambled eggs or your eggs for that matter because you can't cook like me. But anyway, getting back to the earthquake. Then it stopped. Then I yelled to my daughter, Erica. I said, "Are you okay?" And she was a trooper. Somehow she got on and I'm in my underwear. I opened the door. I thought I was going to die. A minute that felt like hours. And I said, "What do you do? What do you do?" I yelled out. And I was like in my underwear. They said, "Get out if you can." Or somebody said. So I ran out in the street where we got out. And on our underwear, Sherman Oaks was on fire.
When you came out, you saw fires that quick?
Everywhere. Sherman Oaks was like destroyed. Certain areas were destroyed. And
your dog, so you're with your ex-wife Jake, and that's not her real name. You call her this
nickname.
And she earned this nickname in inspiration of
Jake LaMotta.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your dog, I remember you took your dog.
Yeah, I took I don't remember what I did with that dog. Because of that dog, I had to move from my first apartment. But I thought I was going to die because it's 3 stories, and I thought it was coming down. The violence of the building. So I thought I would get sandwiched. I'll definitely fucking die.
You really, it was that crazy. And now, if
I'm not exaggerating.
A week and a half
I had 2 life experiences. 17, when they pulled me out, I can't swim, I was drowning, and my idiot friends were taking me further and further. My mother was furious with them. I got caught in an undertow. They had to carry me in. I thought my whole life was going. And then that experience where it was like a life and death.
If anyone can track down the photograph of Nick Turturro outside his San Bernardino Life magazine. This is how, because everybody experienced. I was in Los Angeles, but I was over here.
Yeah, but you didn't feel much over
No,
here.
I felt it, but there was no real damage. Right. I had a scary experience because I remember we spoke and you were rocked. And I was rocked. And then you were telling me, there was fires and all that shit. And the building that they showed to exemplify what it was like in San Bernardino was your building with you standing outside your building, which was destroyed in your Yankee hat. And I was like, so if anybody could track down that photo of Nick Turturro in the 19...
I had it somewhere, but
it exemplified, because your look on your face when they showed you outside your building will prove that the story that you just told...
No, it's true. It was all true. In fact, Red Devil came looking for me. Caruso, he came looking for me. And I was getting some clothes or something out of the building, and I think he was in front of the house, front of the building, and he was like, "Get out of the building!" Like his character, "Get out of the building! Get out!" Like what was this guy Kelly's?
Like it was like an episode of NYPD Blue.
Episode of NYPD, he was like screaming at me because like he was yelling at me.
That's fucking
and
funny.
Then he goes, "Do not go in the building. You understand? Do not go in the building." And I said, "Okay," because I was like in shock. I was really in shock. Like I didn't know where to go. Like I remember, I knew we weren't going to work for a few days, and I talked to one of the producers, Sky Hoblet, and then he was like, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm all right." I said, "Well," he goes, "Well, what happened?" I go, "What do you mean, what happened?" Now, everybody had a different experience. I go, "I almost got killed. I'm in Orange County somewhere. I found some relatives' refuge, and I was like going in therapy with seances, and I was like trying to get even Caruso was like, he was all upset too. Like we went back a few days later, and was like, we didn't feel comfortable. Like every night I'd feel aftershocks. I could hear them coming. The same hour, the same minute. I used to hear it coming like my ear. Here it comes. Here it is. It was just a quick reminder. It went on for months. I used to hear this sucker coming. Like now I know what a real earthquake. I know when there's an earthquake. We have trucks that come by the house, and I hit the house. And people go, "Is that a quake?" I go, No, that's not a quake. I'll tell you when it's a quake. I'll tell you when it's. I know what the quake feels like.
You've been through one.
I've been through a bad. There'll be a big one coming again.
No, don't say that.
No, we might need it just for real estate value so I can get back in the market. I'm not wishing it.
No.
I shouldn't wish that. It's terrible.
No.
It's
But
terrible.
I hear you. It might be good for the market. Might.
Yeah. So it plunges again.
Right.
So we can start over.
Right.
Clean up this fucking mess. What do you think of Trump? You like Trump?
What do you think of Trump?
I like him.
I have to say,
I like him. He's got balls with his hair. I know everybody's attacking him, but listen. I don't know if he's president material, but this country needs somebody
to shake things up.
They do. Political correctness, all this bullshit, this terrorism. You don't know if the guy next to you is gonna fucking take you out. It's bad.
Yeah.
And no more being Mr. Nice Guy.
I agree.
They need something.
Fuck all the political, all the thing that I do like about him is that he speaks in layman's terms. Yeah. And people, he's not a politician. Exactly. But look what they talk in circles. You can't follow them. Can you follow what they say?
You had one guy who was a retard but hilarious for 8 years. Then you have another guy who's a smart guy, but he's kind of soft and he's bright. I like him, but he's not tough. He's not a tough guy.
I don't know what we're going to do.
And they need, Hillary's
But this guy's rogue. Nick, it's like as if you and me were in there and we had like a consultant. It'd be like if you and me ran the country.
What do you got to lose?
I think me and you put ourselves on the bill.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't know if you can get anything done with this Congress shit, but they need somebody that's going to come in and say, we ain't fucking around no more. Even if he's got a rug and a wig and the lips and whatever, I think he's hilarious.
He's far out.
But he's
Have
out
you ever
there.
met Trump?
Yeah, I worked for him, man. He owned the St. Moritz at one time. I was his doorman. When he met Marla, I used to, they said that's his niece and all this shit. I was his cover, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah. When he saw me
in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, when he saw me on TV, he was like, "I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud." I said, "Trump, Mr. Trump, thank you, buddy," because I was his doorman for a short while. He owned the St. Moritz, and then he moved in some hillbilly, and then he married her. Her name was Marla Maples and all that shit.
Right.
And Trump used to come out, and I think at the beginning they used to say that was his niece or some shit. But whatever, maybe that was part of his, his whole thing.
Hey, everybody,
Yeah, everybody's got a thing. I didn't, listen, I kept my mouth shut. I never said anything. I'm just, but I know Trump. I know Trump from back then. I mean, my dad knew Fred Trump, who was his father was a builder, but he didn't Trump became a star. But it's just something about him that makes me laugh. But now I actually think he's got a chance. He has a chance. Because you look at all these momos out there.
The Republicans.
Oh, they stink.
They're not. He absolutely 150% has a chance to be running for president.
Listen, I like Barry Sandler. What's his name?
Bernie.
Bernie makes me laugh.
I like Bernie.
He's old.
But I like an old Jew.
But I like an old Jew.
I like an old Jew.
I don't know if they'll elect an old Jew.
I like Clinton and Bernie together. That'd be good. Because I want Bill back in there. Because if you get Hillary, you're getting Bill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's bright.
And if you get,
She's
so
smart.
you're getting Bill in there. You're essentially getting Bill as like the fucking general manager. She's like Bill's gonna fill Jackson the place.
Bill will be the consultant.
He'll be there.
He's on the sidelines.
He'll be there.
And Hillary ain't no dummy.
No, and then you get Bernie in there. You got a fucking
Bernie,
you get some nice bagel cream cheese and lox
cream cheese and
sundaes.
lox. I love Bernie.
Why? I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, I don't mind that combination.
And then in this fucking Kanye West is threatening to run in 2020. Why don't me and you get on the bill?
He's so stupid that you ever heard that speech he made? I don't know. He makes speeches. I don't know what he's saying, but he's so out of his mind that I get a kick out of him.
Yeah, no, he's
gone.
He's
so nuts. I don't know. I think he believes his own shit.
Oh, no, he believes it.
He really believes. I went to see a show over here at the Hollywood Bowl, and he put on like a play and capes and stuff, and I was like, this guy's far out. I mean, I'm not a big rap guy, but I get a kick out of him, and then he marries, Kardashian. I'm like, how does that help his credibility? I mean, those people, they're like unbelievable. What a gang that is.
That's a gang.
That is a fucking gang like you've never seen in your life. But brilliant. Nobody does the reality shit like them. Look at them. They've taken it to another level. Even my son said they're brilliant. Look at them. They do that reality shit like the more dumb you are, the more stupid, the more. What do they offer? What do they actually do? Nothing. They're the lowest of the low. The lowest of the low. But they're genius at it. They're genius.
Genius.
Even all the people that they bring. But Kanye doesn't show his face. You see, he doesn't partake in that shit.
No, he knows.
He's smart,
right.
He's smart. Paul Lamar. Look what happened to Paul Lamar.
You see,
which I hope I hope Lamar's and I feel bad for Lamar.
Me too. I feel bad for Lamar too.
I just hope he's going to be okay.
I think he's alive.
Yeah.
It looked like he was. He's alive.
And the mother who's the head honcho. She's like a mafia.
She's the Don Corleone.
That's a gang, man.
Yeah.
That's a fucking gang.
Yeah.
The Kardashians.
She's Brando.
Yeah. Well, she's definitely Brando. She whored out the whole family, so. Yeah.
Tell me about your experience making the Sandler film, the football movie, which it seems like that movie, it has spanned the test of time.
It has taken on a life of its own. Unbelievable.
What was that like working on that film?
That was great.
What,
a lot of testosterone.
What the remake of
the Burt Reynolds movie
called?
Yeah, The Longest Yard.
Okay, so The Longest Yard. So you're on the set.
Which is a terrific movie.
Yes.
So I'm on the set with rappers. I'm on the set with football players. I'm on the set with wrestlers. I'm on the set with comedians. I almost broke my fucking foot the first or the second day, so I had to prevail because it was a nice opportunity. And I had a small part originally, like nothing on paper. But then Sandler saw me doing some stuff, and he said, "Dude, you're funny. You're fucking funny." I said, "Thank you." And then he kept handing the ball. I go, "Have Turturro say that. Have Turturro say this," because I kind of went in with an idea. I had an idea.
You had to fend for yourself,
I had
too.
to fend. My brother said, go in there, and show him you're fucking funny, because he'll see that.
Right.
He'll see that you're funny.
Right.
And he'll pick up on it.
Right.
And he was right. He saw it, and he handed me the ball. Every time he handed me, I fucking scored. Because at the beginning, it was really nothing.
Right.
And it became like a cult, huge character. I'm unbelievable. It's 10 years now, and that Brucey guy, I could almost make a show about this guy.
And kids
love him. They're obsessed with the guy. That's Brucey, man. That's the man. Brucey, the guy showed me a scene recently, a fighter. He's a Turkish guy who's German. We're showing a scene from Germany, me talking in German. He goes, "Look at you in German. Look at you." Because they work good in that language. It's a harsh language. I was like, oh, wow, the guy's doing me in German. I'm hearing all the fucking language. I was laughing my ass off. But it was a wild movie. A lot of people running around and girls everywhere, people smoking pot. But I kept my shit together. I was focused.
People were smoking weed.
Yeah, I don't want to get involved.
We don't have to name names.
No, I'm just saying, like, man, I was focused. I'm saying, I'm here to do a job, man. I almost broke my foot the first day. I fell off a big black guy's back. I crashed on the ground. And then the next scene, when Chris Rock's on the ground, they stomped on my fucking fingers. And I said, "Ah!" And Adam said, "This poor kid." I said, "Adam, they stepped on my fingers. First they broke my foot, now they stepped on my fucking fingers." I was getting beat up so bad in that movie, but I used it in the character. I was in a lot of pain, and it came out of my eyes. I think it came out from my foot. It came out of my eyes. I looked bugged out. I had a nice haircut. I had this haircut NY in the back of my hair. It was really a blast. Really a blast. And then, all these guys, I wouldn't shower with them because, too intimidating, too large. And we're like, where you going? Shower with us, nigga. Come on, baby. Come on. No, these guys are too big. They're too massive, physical human beings. I can't be walking around naked. So I can't be in the shower nude with these people. I have to keep some of my ego because they're just too big, too much. I mean, they pick me up when they see me. These guys, they put me in bear hugs. I saw recently a few of them, and Nicky, baby, Nicky, yeah, come on, Nicky. And I was like, no, that's okay. I'll go clean up myself. I'll go on my own. It's all right. Don't worry about me. I'm okay.
But it was a good time.
It was a great time. It was great. I had a blast, and it was a special part that came out, and it was a fun remake of a really good.
Yeah.
And then Uncle Bert was in it, which was great. Burt Reynolds. It was great because I really guys you grew up watching, like, wow, Burt Reynolds. You get to work with a real, you've worked with some movie stars.
Burt was a star.
Fucking stud, man. Stud.
He was the biggest movie star in the
See
world.
the opening scene? He takes the girl in the opening scene. He puts her by the throat. He puts her against the fucking wall. He puts her right against the wall. He goes, it's not like with Adam, it's like nice and stuff. He like chokes the girl out.
Yeah.
Then he takes her fucking car.
Yeah.
I mean, he was fucking Burt.
Burt was the guy.
Edge. Burt was,
and he had hair on his chest and
Burt
everything.
Was a stud. He was the Marlboro man.
He was the guy.
I was watching him last night in Deliverance. I mean, I remember a cop show me and my brother used to watch Dan August.
Yeah.
Burt was, I was telling him, Uncle Burt. He goes, why do you call me uncle? I go, because you remind me of my father's brothers were like bigger than life guys, like Burt Reynolds. I said, you remind me of that. He said, you're all right, kid. You're all right. I had a little moment with him, and he goes, you're doing good. You got something good. I said, thanks, Burt. Thanks. I was like, well, Burt says okay, because to me, like those guys, they're fucking macho guys. These guys today are wimps.
They don't have hair on their chest.
No, they have no fucking hair. They're not like movie stars like that. Those guys are movie stars, man. They're like tough guys. They're bona fide, tough fucking guys. He played football. He was a real football player.
Yeah, he was a real deal.
He's a fucking tough guy.
All right, Nick, I'm going to throw some questions at you. If you were deserted on a desert island for the rest of your life, and you got to bring 5 movies with you for the rest of your life, what would the 5 movies that Nick Turturro would bring for the rest of his life? On a deserted island, that's it. These are the only 5 you get to watch.
These are the only 5 I could watch?
Take your time, but not too much time.
All right.
Come on.
The Godfather.
Okay, Godfather. We'll say 1 and 2. You could bring them together.
All right. Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Rocky.
We're going to bring the same bag.
Yeah.
Did you see Creed yet?
I did. He's great.
I loved it.
He made me cry.
I loved it.
He made the movie. The other guy was okay. The other guy was okay.
Michael Jordan?
He was okay.
I thought he was real. And Nick is not saying this in
okay.
any...
No,
we're
okay.
Rocky guys. We come in with crazy...
I told John, I said... He goes, well, that's your guy. I said, he's beautiful, John. He was beautiful.
John, he's beautiful.
He was beautiful.
Did John see it?
I know.
Now, John, go to the theater.
He goes, I heard. I think he could have did a cameo. I'm like, it bothers me. Like when I hear like you could have done something. Like should have just did it. Whatever. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But I mean, I told him just watch it, John.
He's getting nominated. Still.
He's great.
Me too. 2 times I cried.
It made me cry.
Tears down my face.
And
we're cynical Rocky people.
And we're tough Rocky people.
We're fans.
So
what about my prime, Mick?
That's right.
At least you had a prime. Legs ain't working. Nothing's working. Nobody's doing nothing. Guy comes up, offers me the big fight. Big deal. I'll fight the big fight. You know what's going to happen when I fight the big fight? I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that.
That's good.
And you want to be there ringside to see it?
Right.
It stinks. This whole place stinks.
Yeah.
Talk about your prime.
What about my prime, Mick?
At least you had a prime.
Legs ain't working, nothing's working.
Nobody's saying nothing.
Right.
Me and Nick could do the whole fucking movie.
Fight the fight, big fight.
Big deal, I'll fight the big fight.
Yeah, I'll fight that fight. Get my face punched.
So when we go to see Creed, a.k.a. Rocky 7.
I love Stallone. One of my favorite Stallone movies is, and he's fucking great in it, and it's before Rocky, and I saw it before Rocky. And then when I saw the Newsday, I said, I saw this guy. Because my brother goes, you have to go see this movie, which was Rocky. And I go, I saw this guy, The Lords of Flatbush.
Great movie.
Love it.
Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler, great guy. And Stallone is great in it.
Great.
He's got a scene with Perry King. He's like, it's hilarious. He's got some hilarious scenes.
Lords of
You
Flatbush.
pee in your pants. He's on the bird. He's up in a bird cage. He's like, tells the guy, look down, man, look down. He goes, you know where I am? I'm in Japan, man. I'm in Japan. And the guy goes, you're not in Japan. You're not in Japan. You're on the fucking roof, man. He goes, if I say I'm in Japan, I'm in Japan. Don't fucking tell me where I am. He goes, you gotta have imagination.
Right.
He goes, hey, yeah, I got a motorcycle, man. I can go anywhere. He goes, you ain't got nothing, man. You ain't got nothing.
Stallone.
Fucking great
I gotta
scene.
rewatch that film. I haven't
great
seen it in years.
Great scene. He goes into when he buys her a ring, he tells the girls, leave the room. He tells the guy, you know what your problem is? You showed Mary Connell, whatever her name is, that ring. You never should have showed her that ring. You know, he basically tells the guy, I'm taking the fucking ring. It's $1,600. You know what I mean? He tells the girl, you should have never showed her this ring. He was great, man.
Great.
He was brooding. It's too bad that he became like this monster, but I still love him. And in Creed, he still showed.
He was great.
He was great in Creed.
All right, so you got 2 more movies.
So I got Rocky.
You got Rocky, Godfather 1 and 2, Taxi Driver.
I mean, On the Waterfront.
Okay.
Which I love.
Okay.
Which I really love.
Okay.
And then maybe something modern.
Like what?
I'm trying to think of something that I love modern. You know what I love lately?
Just one.
I love this fucking movie.
Which
I
one?
don't know why. Sexy Beast.
Great movie.
It's a great movie. You know, like, I tell people, like, you want to learn about acting? No, like young kids that want to act, friends of my son's friends, and I go, watch this movie.
That's a great movie.
Watch the performance. My brother even goes, and Kathy, why do you like it so much? I go, well, I like it. I fucking love it. I go watch it more and more. It gets better and better.
The
and
way
better.
it's shot.
Yeah.
The performances,
the
story.
the nuances.
It's great.
It's funny too.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a lot of humor in it.
It's great.
It's great. I mean, those are 5 great. I mean, you know. And
That's a good set.
It's a good set. I mean, I could easily put my, honorable mention ones too. Godfather 2,
No, you get
Mean
Godfather
Streets,
2. You get Godfather
Goodfellas.
2.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to throw another question at you. Now you don't have all fucking day here, Nick.
Go ahead.
Your starting lineup for the greatest Yankee team ever. I'm gonna
Players that I saw?
You get to make you players you saw, players you watched, players you read about. Catcher.
Thurman Munson.
First base.
Don Mattingly.
Second base.
Robinson Cano.
Shortstop.
Derek Jeter.
Third base.
Greg Nels.
Right field.
Reggie Jackson.
Center field.
I'm going to say Mickey Mantle.
Left field.
It's a tough one, left field.
Come on, man. Listen, you got to make it.
He's got to be a left fielder.
Left fielder.
I'm going to say Roy White because I love Roy White.
Okay. And who's managing the team?
Billy Martin.
Who's your starting pitcher? You could say 3 starting pitchers.
Ron Guidry.
Yes.
Whitey Ford.
Okay.
Andy Pettit.
And who's your number 1 out of the bullpen? Or you could get 2 guys in the bullpen.
Mariano Rivera.
Of course.
And Goose Gossage.
All right, this is the Iron Rapaport podcast. I don't know what more I could do, Nick. There's so many more avenues that we could go down.
We did it all. Well, we didn't do it all, but we did a lot.
This is just the fucking tip of the iceberg.
We could talk for hours, really.
This is easy money. This is easy. We could talk for hours.
It's not hard.
All right, Nick, we're done.
Thanks, buddy.